The 1-0 on the way. Adamad swings at it. High pop-up on the infield. Mullen giving chase into foul territory. What a catch to end it! And the celebration is on in the Rose City for the second time in franchise history. The Welland Jackfish stand alone back atop the IBL podium.
Well, it's the moment Welland Jackfish fans have been waiting for. Welcome to the season finale of the IBL Inside Pitch. And congratulations to Welland for winning their second IBL championship in 3 seasons. They did it in a finals to remember. Just 5 games in length against the Barrie Baycats, guys. But when we take a look at it, Braeden Ferrington, Mark Pare, and Neil Srivastava here with you. When you break it down game per game, game 1 had a little bit of a stink to it if we're being fully transparent and honest about it. But, when you look at the rest of this series, 4 out of 5 games decided by 1 run, and then ultimately Welland ends up winning it in style to wrap it up on home field, if you will.
Yeah, and the Jackfish and everything else, you got to tip your cap to them. They went wire to wire in first place throughout the season. They never let go of first place. London was tied within the standings, but they never let go of first place. They pretty much locked in from day one, and just they were all business. You could tell it when they came to certain ballparks. They're usually pretty friendly, buddy. Hey, how's everything going? And you're getting stonewalled by even by the managers and everything else. You usually come up and say hi for 5 minutes. They're all business this year, and that's fine. Yeah, you get it.
It was honestly, this whole series was kind of fun. It was kind of must-watch TV, I guess you could say. Yeah. Obviously, game 1 went down to literally the last pitch, but there's a lot of things that happened within that game that left you, I don't know, not say disappointed, but more like, is this really how the series is going to go?
Yeah.
And after that, it was just back and forth, and like I think Alex said it yesterday, like he mentioned you don't lose a series until you lose at home.
Yep.
And well, that was the fate. That Barrie lost at home, and Welland came back home, and they put a number on the board.
They did, and I think it's just maybe we've all been in those situations. Guelph was in that kind of situation, not to that extent last year in game 4, but once when Barrie got that lead, it was just kind of okay. Yep, we're gonna you kind of switch the mentality, going okay, we're in this series, and now it's like okay, we're down 3-0. Now we're into game 4, and Barrie goes out and does exactly what they got to do, get an early lead on us, and then it's just like okay, now you're just kind of the script kind of shifts from what it could have, should have to okay, now we're just gonna highlight the good points, and let's move on.
Yeah. When you take a look at some of the instances in this series, and I'm not going to harp on all the things that went wrong for, certain things. Obviously, Kristen Clark was safe at home in game number 1, but we'll just kind of leave that at that. At the end of the day, when you take a look at this 5-game series and everything that happened, you guys hit the nail on the head. Winning in Barrie in game number 4 for Welland was definitely the turning point, I feel like, in this series, because otherwise it was a series that really went back and forth and really had that feel of, this could be anybody's series, but then ultimately, Welland picks up that win, and you just kind of get that feeling of they're undefeated at home in the playoffs. They had a little bit of a stretch during the regular season where they faltered at home a little bit more consistently than they would like to, but you transition from what we saw in the playoffs last year, where they were 1-4 in the postseason at home. They went undefeated at home here in 2025, and ultimately capping it off in front of their home crowd, who was loud as we expected.
Oh yeah, and when you get in that situation, you're the number 1 seed for a reason, so you want that home field advantage. You want to have that right to say, you know what, we can win the games at home. We're going to win these series, and that's exactly what they did. That's what they went out and did. They had to do it, and that's what they did. And you tip your cap to it and go, hey, you guys were on a mission all year. You can talk to J-Mac, you can talk to Ryan Harrison and everything else as far as stuff goes, and it was just like, yeah, they're chomping at the bit, going, it's got to work for us. Like he said in the post-game interviews and everything else, he was on every social media platform imaginable out there, trying to wrangle players to get them out here, and he did a great job. And Jason always does a great job of recruiting players, even when he was with Carleton back in the university days, recruiting players, paying for university baseball on a student loan, so guys can have an opportunity to play baseball. He's just that kind of guy.
Yeah, and it's like you said, Neil, like the biggest thing I would say, especially for all the other teams in the league, I'd say this is kind of like a model franchise. If you want the players, go get them. It doesn't matter how you do it, just go do it.
Go do it. And then have the facilities and the background and everything else to keep them there and say, hey, I got a buddy, it's someone somewhere else. Yeah. Can he come back and play? Come up here next year?
Exactly.
You convince a guy like James Smybert to come back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Where he probably wasn't having a great time up in the Frontier League, but he came back because he wanted to win a championship. You look at Jake Sanford and everything else, and wanting to come back and win a championship. So you can't take that away from that group. Those guys just know how good it is right now there, and they all want to be back and be a part of it.
Yeah, like honestly, sometimes grass isn't always greener on the other side. And if you're comfortable in your surroundings, you're probably gonna perform better. Honestly, like it's, and honestly, in this series, it really showed. The guys that have had experience in Welland moved on to the Frontier League and then came back. They just like went on like it was just another day, and they just pounded the ball. So, kudos to them. They deserved it, and it was a fun series to watch.
No question, it was.
When you think about the turnover with this roster, and you mentioned it with JMac going out and recruiting all of these players for 2025. There were some questions coming into this season on, is the defense going to be as effective as it was last season? I mean, obviously, Tyler Dupuis, that is a huge hole to fill in the middle infield. But when you take a look at the way this roster was constructed, a lot of new players, a lot of new faces coming in, but it seems like they gelled very I don't want to say easily, but it was a team that really put the team first mentality into full swing, and really showcased what Welland Jackfish baseball are all about, and really really became a part of that franchise, and now they have their name on a trophy because of it.
Yeah, they do. And you look at the roster pieces they did get. They got a Brendan Luther. They got certainly they can play up the middle with Jonah Weisner now. I call those guys Batman and Robin. I'm not sure which one's which, but they're Batman and Robin. They're the dynamic duo of the Cape Crusaders, minus the capes, but that's what they are. And they're fun to watch. And that's just great to see those guys go through. You get a guy back like Matteo Porcelato to come back from the Frontier League and everything else, and he played with a chip on his shoulder for most of the season. Yeah, he struggled a little bit in the postseason because I think he was trying to put the weight of the world on his shoulders at some points. And I think somebody finally said, hey, you just have to hit the baseball. Have some fun. Steal a base. Just get on base, steal a base, have some fun. And I think he finally relaxed game 4 and 5. And in game 5, it was just like, okay, that's the Porcelato that everybody's been seeing for 2 years here.
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said, too, about this Welland roster. People might also forget, they might be great on the field, right? But they also have to embrace the environment.
Yep.
And if you don't embrace that, you're probably not going to understand how this whole thing works, because if you get swallowed up by the atmosphere, like, you're not going to play well.
Oh, no.
And
exactly.
I think every guy in that roster honestly can confidently say, I love playing here. And it gets them fired up to perform. And I think at the end of the day, that's what you want. And they clearly showed it all year. They embraced this fan base, and other fan bases might not like it, but hey, you know what? You
got to tip your cap to it. You just have to say, hey,
they are.
It's not. I don't think it's hate. I think it's more of envy than anything.
Yes,
I think it's not. I don't think it's hate. I think it's envy.
Yeah,
man, I wish we were like that.
Yes, and they want to be a part of that, but they just can't where they are. And maybe it's the marketing, maybe it's just how Mr. Harrison has brought it up, but it's working, and the players are thriving because of it.
Yeah, like Game 1 of the IBL finals, that was the first time I actually got to see a game live in Welland. And you know what? Beforehand, I wasn't able to really grasp what the environment was all about, what the energy was all about. It took one game, it took one inning for me to really, get a grasp and say, I get it. I get why these players come
Did they
here.
actually hook Mark Pare into Welland?
Hey, maybe.
Is Mark Pare hooked on fun?
Yep.
I've always been I've been a fun guy since Kawhi, Neil. Fun guy since Kawhi.
All right.
But
Like
the fact of the
I will say this. I did text Ryan Harrison and said, "Hey, this is regarding game 1.
Yeah.
This was probably the most fun I've had at a baseball game, probably my whole life. Just being in that atmosphere, seeing the fan base, seeing what was transpiring on the field. I didn't have to put my player thinking cap on and critique everything that was going on. I was embraced in the whole environment, and I actually enjoyed it. Like, I even texted my fiance that I'm like, if we lived in this area, we'd be going to more games. That's how much fun I had, and it is what it is.
Yeah, and they welcomed us with open arms too. I mean, we talked with Pat Casey for a little bit there. I mean, you got to rub elbows with some of the players that you've gotten to know over the years as well. And obviously, you got to also see our friend and the guy who got us in the building in the first place, the MVP of the playoffs, Robert Mullen. And that's where I really want to go on this next portion of it, because Robert Mullen, winning the MVP, well deserved. I mean, the slugging was up there, the big hits, the home runs were there.
Yep.
But I want to say this. For everything that he is able to do at the plates, for everything that he is able to do as an offensive force in this league, and we got to see it all throughout this season, I almost get the feeling that he's even more valuable as the catcher of this team, calling the game from behind the plate, getting the rhythm with the pitchers. And I feel like with everything that he's able to do on offense, that's the other side of it. Being the catcher, being on defense, I feel like there's a little bit more of an emphasis on how well he is able to call a game as a catcher, and he's a little bit more valuable in that aspect than the offensive portion of it. And maybe I'm a little bit off base on that, but I really do feel like, he's that side of it is a little bit more valuable than what he brings to the plate as an offensive player.
I think you're not off. I don't think you're wrong here as far as that stuff goes. I look at a Junior Ibarra too in that situation where, okay, I don't expect him to go out there and hit 323, get X number of home runs. Whatever he does with the sticks is great. Whereas, you look at Robert and everything else, maybe he doesn't get the flowers he deserves on the catching aspects because of the other guys that are in this league that are catchers. But he puts up the numbers offensively and everything else, and he's been on fire the whole year. Like, honestly, he was running away with the home run title for a while, and then it just kind of slipped out of his hands. But yes, it's like that stuff. But yeah, it's just he had another great season. Like, he's put. I wouldn't even say last year was an off season for him, but like I think about when he was with London, and him and Brownlee were going head to head with the home run competition that year.
Yeah,
it was like they just kept pushing each other, like pushing the needle a little higher, going, okay, yeah. Like at one point, the Kitchener game, you remember that nightmare game? We can't ever forget that one. Like, they're looking at each other, like going, like they say, okay, I just hit this one this far. Can you hit that one over there? And literally, Mullen will be up right after him and smacking one out wherever. It was just one of those games.
Well, it's like even like Mark, like I'm not gonna spill all the secrets, but like I was kind of showing you what he does behind the plate. And then all of a sudden it was transpiring with Pedro on the mound. And I think that's what a lot of people don't get to see, right? Because they don't get to see the insight. I'm not going to say I'm anything great, but like I was kind of like, hey, watch this. This is happening now. And all of a sudden, boom, strike. Boom, swing and miss. And it's like just little things, right? That little people don't get to see day in, day out, right? Until someone points it out and they're like, oh wow, oh okay, that
It's
makes
the
sense.
sequencing, right? And and I'm glad you brought up Pedro, because when you think about his career in the IBL, you'll look back at the 2021 year that he had, and obviously Robert was catching him at that point in time. Oh, he has a career year there. He has a couple of off years, if you will, by his standards. Obviously, goes to a couple of other places. Kitchener starts the year in Brantford this year. But it seems like when he has Robert Mullen behind the plate, as soon as he went back to Robbie being his battery mate, goes back to Welland, people were talking about him as potentially being a playoff MVP with the way he was pitching. So I think there is really something to be said with that chemistry that Pedro and Robert had, particularly in the playoffs.
Definitely is. It was fun to watch. It was like, when we said, we keep calling it vintage Pedro. It was not that long ago, but it's vintage Pedro, and it's just you see the swaggers back, you see the mannerisms back, you see the joy in his face, like ear to ear grin last night. Like, come on, he's coming off the game. He's like, yeah, he's not finishing this thing, but he's just appreciative of everything that's going on around him, and that was just great to see.
It was amazing to because I've got to know Pedro for the last 3-4 years now.
Yeah,
like seeing him actually having fun playing again, that was so cool. Like, this guy in 21 had a great year, 22 okay year, and then 23 24
yeah.
Let's go back to Welland with Robbie behind the dish. You know what? Familiarity, you kind of get those good vibes of winning, and it happens. And like, once you get a catcher that understands what a pitcher's strengths are, that's going to take you as a pitcher to the next level. Like, I know I can speak of myself here, but like I had Hayden in 21, won a championship, best year of my career. 22 had another career year, won a championship. Those two are dudes that knew my strengths and knew my weaknesses. And I think as a pitcher, that's all you can ask for, is to be on the same page.
How easy was it to develop that chemistry with Robert when you were with him?
Too
I guess
easy.
Was it like right away, or did it take
Right
a
away.
little bit? Yeah.
No, right away. First bullpen. That guy he's a pro. Like, he understands pitching. Like, it blows my mind. Like, I threw one bullpen to him, and we had a game plan automatically, and it wasn't even hard. And I was like, man, it's that easy. Like I did the same thing with Hayden. Like, he knew what I wanted to throw. Well, not when I wanted to throw. He knew what he wanted me to throw, and I just threw it. And it's the same thing. Like, when pitchers don't have to think, it makes the life so much easier for us.
Yeah.
So, and I never.
Sometimes you don't want pitchers to think either. So it's just don't think, just throw the baseball.
Yeah, and I think, like, even on Pedro's side of it, I've seen the good and the bad, right? And I think from seeing him from across the field as an opposing player, him and the catcher were not on the same page. Like, he didn't want to throw a certain pitch, and then he started thinking, and then balls were getting hit, and then he's getting frustrated. Where now he didn't have to think. Like, he was just in cruise control because he knew that Robbie was going to call the pitch, and he was like, okay, I trust him. Boom.
Yep. Oh, and you saw some of you see the bats in the 8th and 9th inning yesterday's game. Even though the young kids were just overmatched, they had no choice. Those kids were like, "You're gonna see 3 pitches, kid, and that's it. Buckle up.
Yeah, it was
make it look good. Buckle up, make it look good."
Yeah, and you notice even all season long, the games that I've actually gotten to watch with Welland this year, pitchers weren't shaking off Robbie all that much, if at all. And, rarity you would see Robert have to go to the mound, to go over pitch sequencing or anything like that. Like, just seems like they would have a game plan at the beginning of a game. They're able to execute it, and they're able to execute it effectively. And it's not like they even broke a sweat, with all due respect to the other teams in the league. But this is a team that executed, and battery mates, really were just so on point with what they were with what each other were thinking.
Definitely were.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of talking on the Welland Jackfish, obviously. Congratulations once again to them, their second championship in 3 seasons. The team that they beat, the defending IBL champions from last season, the Barrie Bay Cats, and guys, again, this is a hard thing to do. To go back
Yep.
to back, Braeden, you can attest to it. It is hard as hell to go back to back with championships. And this is a team that went undefeated in the playoffs last season. They had to scrape out a series win against Toronto when basically everybody had written them off after game 3. And then they end up taking care of business against Hamilton to get into the finals. What went wrong for this Barrie team, if anything went wrong for this Barrie team in the finals?
A lot of injuries, guys that weren't in the lineup anymore. Like, that core, as far as you're listening to the league, you're missing Ryan Rios. There's other guys that were, not there, unfortunately, or battling injuries and just trying to suck it up as much as they could. But it's a hard grind. 42 games, and then you go into those playoffs, and it's just like you don't get a lot of downtime. You don't get we don't play it till Friday mentality is when you're playing, okay, it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday off in the postseason. So yeah, they're a quick series, and it's a quick turnaround. So you don't get time to recover. You don't get time to nurse injuries either in this league as far as that stuff goes. It's just, if you're hurt, you're not going to get healthy by the time this thing's over.
Yeah, and I think that was the one downfall too, is I'm not going to say anything bad, but they just kind of ran out of steam pitching wise. The recovery thing. I'd say if they had another day, obviously you'd see some guys throwing that should be throwing, but since it was a quick turnaround, they're not throwing because they physically can't.
And and I think it speaks to volumes to what the league's direction is going to be going next year as far as this stuff. You really need that 4-starter. You need it. You need that at 4-starter. If it means you need an import spot to get that 4-starter, hey, you might want to start doing the sales job before the AGM happens as far as this stuff goes. But we'll get into that later on.
Yeah. And, namely, you look at that game 5. I mean, who had Hayden Jaco starting a do or die situation in game 5? That's Braeden.
When you said that to me, I'm going, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Because what I was told originally and everything else, it was just like, okay, because the same people told the league people that they were doing the socials, the same thing, and we all looked like idiots because it's the wrong guy out there.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be Cesar Rosado, but as we found out, he was nursing an injury, so that's why Hayden ends up getting the call in game 5.
Yeah. But I will say this, for an emergency start, what better of a guy to be in that environment than Hayden Jaco?
Well, exactly. If things would have worked out differently, it would have been the story. Oh my God, Jaco came out of nowhere. Nobody had seen him pitch from 2 years.
Right.
He goes out there and shoves. He still went out there and shoved for 5 innings almost. But it's just you know what? Then an emergency fill-in role. I figured, okay, he's probably going to go 2 or 3. Then they're going to go to the bullpen and just tax whoever they got available.
Yeah.
Josh is going to be sitting there going, "Can you get me an inning? Can you give me 2 outs?" That was the kind of mindset I'm in, and sitting there at home going, Josh is going to be out there just doing whatever he can to get just trying to get outs out of guys.
Yeah, and Hayden's a dog. That guy. I probably obviously I know more than majority of the people in this league, but this guy grinds. He is a quote unquote professional CrossFit athlete.
Yeah.
This guy understands what the mental side of it is, the physical side of it is, and then you got him as a human being, and going into that Welland atmosphere, he wasn't getting phased.
No. How many guys would actually get on a plane in BC, fly across country twice in 2 weeks to just kind of play baseball for a weekend?
Yeah.
Who would do that?
No, that says it all right there.
That's a special kind of guy.
I love the guy. He's my guy. So
yeah,
but I was pumped for him. I was ecstatic to see him get an opportunity like this, and honestly, he did. I think he can probably say he did better than he thought he would do.
Yeah,
because or knowing him, he'd be like, no, I should have gotten 9 innings.
I should have got 9. Yeah. No, but again, you look at what Josh did once you realize, okay, the game's out of hand.
Yeah.
He went with the veteran guys. He went with the Chris Nagorskis. He went with the Brads and everything else out there, the Beard and everything else, and he gave those guys, maybe it's their last kick at this thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they'll sit there and say, okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, maybe not be the greatest numbers and everything else, but this was a heck of a great way to go out. Yeah. I got to go out in front of a packed house here.
Oh yeah.
And something that you always take away from it. And of course, Chris Nagorski, I think I got you 6 rings as it is already, or 5 anyways, so you're welcome. It's okay.
When the history makers or the history writers up in Simcoe County, or our friends doing the documentary on the Barrie Baycats for 2025 put out their product, what is the story of the 2025 Barrie Baycats in a nutshell?
Oof.
Adversity. I think that's what you put it down as. I think that's where you start. You lose your captain. You lose the heart and soul of this team. You lose Malik Williams. You lose, you lose Kadis Ejo just because he decided he wasn't going to play baseball this year.
Yeah.
And you look at the catchers they brought in. They brought in Beltran. They brought in Garcia, and those things didn't work out. And when they didn't work out, it's like, okay, how do you replace these things? And then it's like, then Malik goes down. It's like, okay, I got to replace that too. So it's like Josh is a wizard as far as this stuff goes. Like, and I texted him like literally 5 minutes after the game yesterday. I didn't expect to get a response, but like, I'm guessing it goes half an hour. He was on the bus and everything else. And we texted back. We talked for a couple minutes, just as far as that stuff goes. And it's just, I appreciate him. The situation he came into, he inherited a team that had won all those championships, but the cupboards were empty.
Yep.
And he was mandated was, okay, you got to get us back to this glory and everything else. You got to put butts back in the seats. You got to do all this other stuff, and you got to find a way to win championships. Mm-hmm. So he did that, all this stuff. And, he's not probably going to get a lot of credit he deserves. But he definitely deserves a lot more than he's getting as far as this stuff goes. And, it's a hard thing to be in that situation because it's just like, he's got to have the weight of the world on his shoulders 24/7. At least on this franchise's perspective, anyways.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't really say much after that.
Sorry.
Well,
what was that rant number 4 tonight already? And we're not even halfway through.
Hey, at least we're not quoting Taylor Swift songs right now.
We're not going there tonight.
No, we'll do that in the second half, maybe.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I can't really. Yeah, whatever Neil just said. That's literally it. Like most teams would never come back from losing.
You lose your star player, you're pretty much one of them. You lose your left and your right, pretty much.
Yeah, which is
crazy. You lost your lieutenants, you lost your generals.
Yeah,
who's going to lead this arch in there? I mean, you get Tristan Clark. I just love that guy's story. I just do.
Yeah,
it's such a great story, and it was just. He is so thankful for the opportunity. I say that almost every time I talk about this guy, but I don't know. I just love this guy's vibe. I just love how he's attitude, and I love his whole family as far as they're just really respective. We're thankful for the opportunity to be part of this, and I hope more guys understand this over time. It's like, hey, you don't get to play baseball as long as you want to. Sometimes the game gets taken away from you for a while. You wind up playing men's league somewhere in Oklahoma or wherever.
Yeah.
But he made the most of an opportunity, and he's gonna go back and he's gonna have heck of a stories to tell his kids as they grow up and everything else. Yeah, Dad, you played here and everything else, and they got to see it.
Yeah.
Front row center. That's probably the biggest thing you take away from if you're Tristan Clark.
At the end of the day, this Barrie Baycats team, I mean, you said it, adversity is definitely at the top of the list when you define what their 2025 season looks like. And, the fact that they can take that adversity, all those injuries and everything that they faced. I mean, this was a team that started 0-3 on the year, and they were at the bottom of the power rankings for the first couple of weeks, but they definitely turned it around in a hurry.
I gotta be honest with you. They were lobbying pretty hard. A couple of guys on that team were lobbying pretty hard to get them down there because they wanted the wake-up call to be sent. So we'll leave it at that.
So you're telling me that it was rigged?
It wasn't rigged, but it was definitely, walking out of the stadium in Barrie, Make sure we're in like the lower half, like 3 guys coming up to you that are veterans on the team. I'm not going to say, but we're just going to do this. You know, the other ones are.
So they were lobbying, but they were put down there anyway, just not because
Based
of
on
that.
the record.
Just so we
not
have
because of that, but they were lobbying it.
Yeah,
they were lobbying it. They were lobbying. Yeah.
No. Nonetheless, the fact that they made it to the IBL finals, Josh Matlow doesn't walk out of 2025 with some hardware. There might be some head scratching around these parts. Yeah.
Some riots. Yeah. I can't help them there.
No, we don't have a vote. No, we already gave out our IBL Inside Pitch awards this year, so maybe if we get a bigger budget, maybe we can actually make some trophies, and we'll just do IBL Inside Pitch, the award show.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah,
get some oven or something as consolation prizes. Sorry, you didn't win, but here's a lovely oven mitt.
Exactly.
Go steal some bases with it.
By the way, guys, subscribe, tune in, and help all the algorithms get this out to everybody, because then when we get monetized, that's what some of that money might go towards, is being able to get these trophies. That's so, some of these players and coaches and management that didn't get the trophies from the IBL, maybe we invest and give them the trophies ourselves. Maybe it's in the form of something that we buy from an official engraver and an official awards thing. Maybe it's an awards that's inscribed onto a little packet of M&Ms. Who knows?
Depends on the budget.
Exactly. So you'll tell what the budget looks like based on the quality of award we do give out.
Here, have an M pack it's got a sticker attached to it. There you go.
Yeah. And Braeden, maybe it also comes in the form of Sour Patch
brought to you by
Kids.
Dollar Tree.
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah. Skylar Janice, closer of the year. You're getting some Sour Patch Kids for that.
Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah. All right.
Only yellow ones. Only
once. Only
yellows.
Yeah. Only the yellow ones. Would you get his rider or something?
I don't know. I'm assuming because he loves the yellow shoes, so I gotta figure it's gotta be yellow.
All right. Yep. Fair enough. Well, when we come back on the other side, we got a little bit more to touch on, including the actual IBL awards and when those will be given out. We got some mailbag questions and a whole lot more. Stay with us. You're watching the IBL Inside Pitch. Hey there, everybody. Mark Pare here from the IBL Inside Pitch. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button here on the IBL Inside Pitch, whether it's on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. Leave a comment on any episode you want as well. We love to hear from you. And the reason why you want to hit that like and subscribe button is because we've had so much content. We're going to have some episodes during the off season as well, and we do not want you to miss any of it. So again, hit like, hit subscribe, and you'll be notified anytime we are on the air. 12 months of the year here on the IBL Inside Pitch. Welcome back to the IBL Inside Pitch. Mark, Neil, and Braeden here with you. And guys, this is it. This is the season finale. What a season it has been. And still got a little bit to touch on here. And just first of all, it's our season finale, but there's still a season technically going on.
Yeah.
Braeden.
Yeah.
You got a championship on the line coming up, bud. Tell us a little bit about what's coming up for you.
Yeah, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. in London, Ontario, Byron Optimus Complex. We got the Byron Storm taking on the Woodstock Nationals in the Midwestern Ontario Senior Baseball League. We're up 1-0 in the series, so best of 3. Should have been a best of 5 or 7, but it is what it is.
You don't want to extend the season much longer than you have to anyway, especially because usually next week it starts raining and it gets colder, and then I'm bitter as a whole heck in the press box that they're doing the university games because it's freaking cold.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting in the box for 9 hours because I'm dumb enough to do 3 games in one day.
Oh geez. But yeah, like for us, we have former London majors, Carlos Arteaga, Humberto Ruiz, Zev Weisdorf. On the Woodstock side of it, they got Roger Keane. I think he might be the only one that's played in the Intercounty.
Yeah, I think the other guys, there were some other names on there. I just can't. I think I've seen those names.
Yeah, they've been around
various mentioning pieces and everything. Yeah.
So it gets 2 evenly matched teams. Like we won game 1 6-5. So it's not like it's a blowout, but it's good hard series so far, and hopefully we win it all on Wednesday. I do a cool updated post with the trophy because that's cool, right?
It'd be a great for those things that had then and now posts for Facebook. You'd have a perfect one.
Yeah, exactly. And
almost I think it would almost be the day
almost. Yeah. It's just cool because it's like I've thrown a lot this year. Like it's crazy. Like I've thrown in 69 2/3 innings. I was telling you guys
those are stats.
yeah, because I was already talking about it.
Yeah.
I've thrown 1,001 pitches this year. Like, that's crazy.
And somehow your arm's still attached to like.
Somehow.
Is Lee Majors on speed dial? Something that is the bionic man out there? Giving you pointers or something like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just. Yeah, I've thrown a lot, so it's fun though. It's what I signed up for. I even told the guy that kind of runs our team. I go, listen, like, I'll do whatever. Start, close, middle relief. I did warm up a couple games at shortstop when we did IO, so people didn't really like that one. They told me to go back on the bench, and I was like,
"Well, you sent the picture. I'm like, when you're playing shortstop, you're playing the sixth. What the heck's going on here?"
Yeah, that was fun. That was
It was almost dogs and cats are getting together, getting along in harmony right now. What's going on? Braeden Ferrington's playing shortstop.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see that.
One step closer to Hayden Jacob, my friend.
That's what I'm saying. Like I need to play all the positions. But yeah, it should be a fun game on Wednesday, and hopefully we wrap it up because I really don't feel like trying to pitch more. We're already taxed here.
The arm is tired.
I do have to ask this. Yeah. Now, is there a position that you wouldn't play out of everything out there, or
wouldn't play? Oh, damn. I don't think I'm allowed to say that.
Because you're gonna wind up playing there for Wednesday night.
Never.
It's exactly what'll happen.
I think the guy that runs my team, he knows not to do that. I'd say any infield position, except for catch. I would actually be down to catch. Fun fact, I don't know if anyone really knows about this, but like during my majors days, I would actually catch some live BP during practice.
Okay.
So yeah. What can I say?
There you go.
All right.
A man of many talents.
They call me the Cy Young of catchers.
Okay. All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm going to feather in some mailbag questions because one of the questions that we did end up getting kind of ties into, your pitching and just what you've been doing this year, and it kind of leads into, I guess, the question that a lot of people have been asking, and this isn't just a mailbag that we've gotten this past week, but we've been getting it all season. I think the main question for you, Braeden, is, are you coming back to the Intercounty Baseball League in 2026? And I guess what is the status of that at this point in time as we sit here at 8:00 at night on September 15th?
Do I need to queue up LL Cool J here? Is that the next thing? Is Mama's going to say knock you out here? Like what?
Oh man, there hasn't been any formal conversations. Right. Put it that way. As most people know, like I am getting older. I'm not as young and energetic as I used to be. But you never know. It's fun. The league's getting better every year.
Yep.
Obviously you gotta weigh the pros and cons if I were to ever come back, or if I were to come back. And even that, I guess it's going to be not just to come back and play right now. It'll be more like, if I'm going to come back, it's to win a championship because.
You got 2 rings, you want one more.
Like winning.
Why not?
I like winning. Yeah, I like winning. And rings are cool. Appearances, meh. Rings are way cooler, I think, in my eyes. but yeah, nothing really formal. But again, it's just it has to be the right fit. There is a certain date that is blocked off my calendar, so whatever team wants to talk to me, you have to be okay with that date, me not showing up. If
it's not like in the middle of August, is it?
Nope, it is the first week of June. CMA Fest takes priority.
Go do your
fair
thing.
Because
Nashville, beginning of June, it's not like you're leaving them high and dry right in the middle of a pennant race or before playoffs.
I started the 2020. I started the 2024 season in Nashville, Braeden. I think you're fine.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. We all know how that went.
Yeah. Me getting a text message as I'm crossing the border from Kentucky into Tennessee, but we're not going to get into that.
No, we're not going to get into that one. That's one where we've had many beers and
that's IBL after that's the after dark edition.
Anything. Yeah, that's the way after dark edition.
I know some team executives might not be cool with certain players missing X, Y, and Z dates, but at the time I'm going to be turning 33. Like, been doing it a decade. Yeah, I've been doing it a decade. My body feels like I'm 90, but we can still be effective. It's.
Can't wait to see you get a hit 50.
No. There'll be no athleticism left in this body.
No, they'll be chasing after your kids by that time.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, kids will be on the field hopefully.
Yeah. Chasing after your
or
kids
whatever they want to do,
chasing off the boyfriends from the pool or whatever. I was going, what the heck are you doing here?
Yeah.
I thought I said no.
Yeah. We're taping like the 15th anniversary of the IBL Inside Pitch, and there's just kids in the pool in the background.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of making a point, and someone's splashing around. Dad.
Yeah. Knock it off.
Yeah. Can't you see I'm working here?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I'm blogging here. Come on.
Yeah, and I obviously I have to talk to my other half because it's not just a me thing. It's this is a me thing.
It's a we thing, yes.
Yeah, when I was younger, it was a me thing. Now I got to consider other people's schedules and lives, and if it works out, it works out. If not, that's okay.
Yeah.
And again, if we win on Wednesday, then you know what? Hey, I like winning. I hate losing.
Yeah, winning is much better than losing.
Way more fun.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah, no, it should be interesting to see what the next few months has in store. And speaking of winning, you won something recently, though, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. That was cool. Okay.
That was very
cool. I'm not even going to tee you. I'm just teeing you up, and I'm just going to let you tell the full story on this one.
Man. Okay. It's kind of cool. This kind of came out of nowhere for me. I won an auction. And sometimes things slip through the cracks in auctions that shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I happen to, I'm not going to disclose the dollar amount because that's irrelevant in my world for disclosing that. But I did end up winning a court signed document that I don't even know the actual terminology, but basically it's the MLB commissioner, Pete Rose, witness, blah, 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 of him being suspended for life in Major League Baseball or professional baseball. So, which is, I
guess the proper way would be the acceptance of the findings or something of the commissioner's office, something like that. It's him signing off and saying, okay, I acknowledge I've received no notification properly of I'm banned for life.
So that's kind of cool because it's a part of baseball history. I'm a baseball nerd.
Yep.
And it's something, especially when I saw it, I was like, there's no way this is going to go for this. Because, I have had a bid on something Pete Rose before. I did win it. And I may have been on vacation and didn't claim the bid.
Oh.
So I didn't physically get the signed photo of Pete Rose. And as obviously everyone knows in baseball world, Pete Rose is no longer with us.
Yep.
So when this opportunity came about, I was like, I have to do this because it's not crazy amount. and I have to do it because
and the fact that it was available and it wasn't really that overly publicized either, it was just kind of I was like, I think that's what floored me more about it yesterday when you showed the picture to it. I was like, what? How is this even around? Like, why is this not somewhere more important than somebody's auction house?
Yeah, that's my thing. I was confused why it was even available. And like I have some cool things like in my nerdism baseball thing.
Yeah.
Like Doc Gooden signed jersey. What's his name? Oh gosh, from Major League, third baseman. Doran.
Yeah.
I've assigned
something. That's cool.
I've assigned Cleveland Indians jersey from Major League movie from the actor.
Yeah.
It's just something cool, right? That you don't see every day.
No.
Then obviously I have some photos signed by guys that these are not obviously auction items, but like just I got some stuff in my man cave that are kind of cool for my own personal things. It'll be more of I don't know, my own personal office when that happens. But yeah, I'm a nerd in baseball, so yeah.
And it's graded too, right? Like it's authenticated. Yeah. Everything is.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it has authentication to it. Then even that, like, I was fortunate enough to get a signed ball by Fernando Rodney, so that's added to the mix of all the other signed balls I have by dudes in the Hall of Fame. So he might get there one day. I don't know.
I have to go through the Veterans Committee or something. But yeah, so definitely.
Yeah. Hall of Very Good.
Yes.
So to win that piece from Pete Rose, it's kind of cool for me because, just adds to the legacy of, not gonna say what could have been in his career, but I think, he obviously made a huge impact in the game, and now to have a piece of not the great impact, but an impact nonetheless of Major League Baseball is kind of cool.
That's fantastic.
I want to say September 3rd, 1991, but I'm not sure if that's the exact day.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'll see it when I receive it.
It's great, and obviously with it being authenticated, like these are a lot of things that some collectors will think of as, these are chips that we can sell off for major profits down the line because they are worth so much money, because they have the authentication, they are legit. There's too many of these fake traders around that will sell all of these counterfeit things where they will spend thousands of dollars on these things, and then they end up finding out years down the line that they're worth nothing. So I'm hoping that this isn't one of those cases, but either way, like, I'd imagine, like, you're one of those collectors that, you're not looking to just make a profit because you are a baseball nerd. You're just looking to collect these things and have them with you.
Yeah, and even like say like have like when people come over, it's more of a discussion piece, right? Like,
exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
You see it hanging on the wall, going, "Where did you get this thing from?" And then you tell the story and everything else, and
and like
the wheels will turn.
I have other handwritten notes from Major League executives to me, I guess technically, and it's just cool, right, to have, and like it gives another discussion rather than just seeing my gloves and they're like, "Oh, well, what's this glove?" Like, I get lame after a while after people see my gloves. It's another wrinkle to my nerdism.
Yeah. Well, I don't have that much behind me. I'll tell you that right now. There's about maybe $1,500 worth of nerd memorabilia in behind me, a lot of video game stuff, although I do have a drumstick from a Billy Talent concert that I did fight tooth and nail for at the end of the night when they threw the drumstick into the crowd. I was the one that grabbed it. It was half the bag when I grabbed it, but I was able to get it, and I think that's probably the only thing that I was able to kind of get in the wild.
Say, was that that was hers?
Wait, say that again?
Did you have a Karen come after you and say that was hers?
No, I did not.
In front of her?
So the story behind it is it dropped right in front of me. I grasped it. This is for anybody that goes to concerts and has a drumstick thrown into the crowd, here's the secret. If you're going to grab it, make sure you're grabbing it by the middle. The second you get the end of it,
it's over.
It's game over. The person that has it grasped in the middle, it's theirs. And I flat out told the two people that also had their hands on the sticks at the ends, I'm like, guys, I have it up in the middle. I'm not letting go. It's mine. It's this. The game over. I'm sorry. Have a good night. And I took it home.
Good night.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah. Other than that, just some hats and stuff in behind me. I have some signed memorabilia here and there, just from some players that have covered over the years in hockey. But yeah, that's all I have. I don't have Pete Rose's signature, but
No. I remember getting on with Pete Rose baseball actually at the Kiwanis sports auction during the Sports Hall of Fame thing. I can't remember which year, but Pinball Clemens was there. And I put my $5 down. I go, okay, yeah, there's whatever. There's no way I'm winning this. I go back 15 minutes later, and somebody well up in Guelph, well established, former CEO of a company, put some numbers down. I was like, yeah, that one's gone. We'll just leave it at that.
No.
We'll just leave it at that.
That's tough.
Yeah. He does have a couple of places named after himself and across around town. So that was that.
I should mention that I do have a framed Frank Mahovlich jersey that I'm staring at right now. Actually, that's one other thing that I have gotten over the years. That just goes back to my Timmins names. Timmins days. I met Frank a bunch of years ago as well. One of the sweetest guys, and I was able to call him up when he got named to Legends Row with the Maple Leafs organization, and more than gracious to give me 5 minutes of his time to tell me what it means to him, and give me an interview and get the word out to his hometown. He honestly, he is one of those guys that I hold in such high regard, and stories for days, and that's something that I'm going to take with me in my career for sure. I think we're starting to get off topic, boys. We might be getting a little off topic here, but
we're going down too far down the rabbit hole here.
We might be. We're going to keep this in for entertainment purposes anyway, but I guess let's get back to the IBL and the things that are coming up at hand. First of all, I do want to thank everybody that has come on this season, whether it's, players as guests, whether it's the broadcasters that came on during the playoffs. I mean, too many names to name. I'm going to forget them all because I have ADHD, but if you came on, we thank you for doing so. Yep. It's a much appreciated contribution from all three of us. And, one thing I do want to touch on is we weren't able to get anybody from the Welland Jackfish on here tonight just because they're actually having their fan celebration tonight. Yes, so that's the reason why. Otherwise, we were going to try to get Alec and Reese, perhaps Robert Mullen as well. But we're celebrating with the Fanatics tonight, and all to them for doing that. And
hopefully they've mixed in some water with the pond water instead. By this time, hopefully.
By the way, great pond water. I did try it at the game in Game 1. It's good.
It's good.
Good stuff.
He's hooked on it now.
I'm hooked. I'm hooked. What can I say?
He's a fanatic now, folks. We've created a monster now. This
is all your fault, fans. Wow. I have no allegiances whatsoever. I am as unbiased as they come.
He's going to text us next year. He's going to have a jackfish somewhere tattooed on some part of his body.
Hey now.
Write it down. It's going to happen.
Wow. Any other off-season predictions to come? Or just a tattoo for me?
Just a tattoo.
Oh,
it might not be a permanent one. It might just be one of those stickers they stick on you for the heck of it. But, it's going to happen.
Get one of those henna tattoos like right here or something.
Yeah.
I've been branded. No, honestly, they've been nothing but great with us. I mean, obviously their fans and their organization have given us so much support this year. As has every other team in the IBL. I think everybody likes what we're doing here this year, and season 2 is going to be right around the corner and faster than you think. But before we get to season 2, we still got to wrap up season 1 and the things that are coming up, including this week. Neil, let's touch on it real quick. What does the schedule look like for the IBL awards that are going to be given out?
Well, a little birdie popped this into my inbox this afternoon. So let me just call this up here as far as officially so I don't mess something up here. But yes, you're going to see the Manager of the Year announcement on Thursday. And then obviously the closer of the year award will be announced officially on Friday. They're going to take the weekend off. Then they've got the Rookie of the Year on Monday, MVP on Tuesday of next week. And then you'll have the all IBL teams being announced probably Wednesday and Thursday of the following week as well. And then Executive of the Year will probably be the last tail end, but I'm not sure if it's going to be beforehand or after. We'll see what happens as far as that goes. But again, it just depends when they vote on it, because they usually vote on that usually at the AGM or the September meeting anyways, which has got to be around the corner too. So we'll see as far as that goes. Which segues into what we're going to next.
Absolutely. Back to our mailbag. And first of all, just one of the mailbag questions before we get into that AGM conversation. One of our fans ends up sending in this message, and it kind of goes back into our conversation in the first part of this podcast, and the Welland Jackfish and how they were able to, overcome everything and end up winning the IBL championship. What do we think a big factor in Welland winning the title in 2025 was? Was it their consistency in play? It seemed like Barrie is a good team, but they seemed very up and down most of the season and the playoffs, and it seemed like Welland didn't really bobble. What was the big factor in Welland winning that IBL championship?
I think they just had the mindset and the winning culture ingrained all year long. They was like, they weren't going to hit the rock bottoms. They were kind of staying even keel the whole year. As far as that, even they had a little bit of a tailspin in the middle there, but again, there was the losing stuff at home. But yeah, they seemed even keel as far as this stuff goes. And when push came to shove, and they had to end losing streaks and everything else, they put on their big boy pants and went out and did a job. Did a job as far as this stuff goes. And to a man, I think it was just they love playing with each other and for each other. And I think that's pretty much why the difference in that was this year. You can just see how the celebrations and everything else. You see the pictures all over Facebook, social medias, everything the last couple of days too. And it's just like, it's a brotherhood there as far as that, or family. It's just these guys have all got each other's backs.
Yeah, like this team, also they remind me of like the championship team I was a part of in 22, where really nothing could really go wrong. I think that year we had one 3-game losing streak back to back to back. It was one weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. We may or may not have been sick with something. But
it happens.
Was that first weekend in August?
Yep.
Mark and I called. You were playing Guelph the Friday and the Saturday. I called both those
and days. This team reminded me of it because they had that little spin there in the middle of the season, and then boom, rocket ship. And that just reminded me of like our 22 team, because like everybody really got along. We all hung out together outside of the field, and I think that's what you want as a team. Like everybody actually enjoying being around each other, regardless of your performance on the field or off the field. So yeah, like Mark, when we were there, like everybody was all buddy. Like that's, you don't see that often. Like usually you see like in a room, it's
little cliques or whatever,
the other side, or like a little pocket here, a little pocket there. But like when you have a whole team that kind of comes together, almost like a puzzle, right? And all the pieces kind of fit. That puzzle's gonna look great at the end of it. So Ryan Harrison, if you're listening, team photo on a shirt, puzzle pieces. Just saying, it will sell.
I think so.
I think so.
I hope you get a profit for that now, Braeden. A little bit of a profit. Right? Just a little bit.
Get cut in for 5% or something.
Yeah, we're just idea people here, right?
You can have a wedding to pay for eventually, so
yeah, seriously. Oh man. That is not cheap.
No.
Nope.
So just to wrap up the Welland conversation, just want to send out a congratulations to Alec and Reese. They get to join the club that not too many of us are a part of, that they got to call the championship winning game for any team in the IBL in the last 5 seasons since we really started this journey where every team is doing live streaming. If I have it correctly, it was Patrick Melbourne and Ryan Eakin that called the final game in 21. Toronto's broadcast took care of 2022. 23, it was Patrick and Julius. 24, it was myself and Josh Alderman. And now they join that illustrious group that have been able to add to their demo reel. And, and I think they really kind of took that assignment to heart, where it didn't matter who was going to win that game. It didn't matter if it was going to be Barrie or if it was going to be Welland, albeit if Welland ended up losing that game, they'd have to extend the series, yada, yada, yada. But the fact of the matter is, I think they took that assignment and said, you know what? This is not an opportunity that a lot of us are ever going to get into a game where we can call a championship like this. I was lucky enough to get to do it twice in a week last year, and it's something that I will never forget. I think the last game number 5, is going to be something that those two gentlemen do not forget, and is going to be something that it should be in a prime spot in their demo reel when they are looking for jobs in the broadcast industry for years to come. So I just want to send that congratulations to the two of them, and as well as every broadcaster in the league for a job well done here in 2025. Just to kind of wrap up this season of the IBL Inside Pitch, it's gonna bring a tear to my eye because it's been a long one. We started this, just myself and Neil, before we brought you on, Braeden, before the season started, and we've been able to have so much fun here. But let's get to the final topics first, and then we'll get to our goodbyes or see you laters, if you want to call them that. Let's get back to the mailbag, and Neil, we'll get right into it right here, right now. The AGM conversation. One of the mailbag questions is, what does the IBL look like in 2026?
That's a good question. Let's start with one that's on left field. Is it going to actually still be called the IBL next year? That's the first thing. Let's just go there and let's address that. Like, I've been hearing rumors about that stuff. I don't have any concrete information or anything like that. It's just rumors and speculation. But is that the one thing? It's just part and parcel to going pro, and they want to. I don't want to say they want to ditch the moniker, but I think it doesn't fit what they're trying to do. Then it's just because it's not what they want to do as far as the moniker, because the Intercounty just seems like a very tight area rather than okay, it's just whatever. So maybe they've kind of outgrown that moniker. Maybe they've outgrown that name, which means there's probably new branding and stuff like that if that's the case. Which brings the question: okay, let's go. The brass tacks of it. Are we going professional baseball next year? Is there enough teams willing to go down the rabbit hole, go put both feet into the pool here? And then it's just because it's going to be a costly investment for the teams involved in the league and everything else. Is like, do you want to go fully into this? Are 9 teams going to be around? Because I don't think you're going to have a 10th team. I just can't see it happening. Like, it's too short of a window.
It would have happened by now if there was going to be a 10th team in the league.
I think
we would have known about it.
You would have heard something anyway. Somebody's okay. So and so is petitioned the league executive to vote on a 10th team or anything, but I don't think it's going to happen yet. I just don't think we're there. Then the next thing you look at, okay, how many games are we playing next year? Pro or not pro?
Mm-hmm.
And then that also ties into, okay, if we up the schedule, how many more imports do we bring in? Because we've proven now that it's like, okay, we're not just going to be a weekend league if we go more than 42 games next year. You're going to have to start playing midweek with your guys and everything else, which means you're going to need more arms. You're going to need more bodies. You're going to have to, you're going to have to pull them in from somehow and somewhere. So how's that going to work?
Probably going to need a 4-man rotation.
Yeah.
Whether it is the regular season or the playoffs.
Or even just a 5. Honestly, because if you're playing 4 and 5 nights a week now, it's like, okay, yeah, you can't expect these guys to bounce back on a 5 or 6 day schedule. You just can't.
Yeah. And even that, another thing I don't think most people have thought about it, right? Say they do. It does happen. It goes pro. How many teams lose those younger guys due to college?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
So it's how much do they have to reach in the bag of players, right? Like it's lots to think about.
Yeah. Like you don't want to turn this into a
I'm
league
curious about. Sorry, the one thing I'm curious about too is that if you turn this league pro, what does that factor into, I guess, and we see it with other sports here as well, but does that factor into NCAA eligibility? Does that kind of play a factor
I
in
would
this
think
as well?
I would think it has to, because now you're a professional league as far as
Hmm.
this stuff goes. So you're
You
kind
got
of
Memphis.
look what's going on with the OHL right now as far as
Yep.
this stuff. They actually are barring coaches from NCAA schools from attending, scouts from attending from these preseason games and everything else, because they're no longer getting passes or anything. I guess that's official term or whatever
Yeah.
they're getting as far as,
I guess
because they got it.
lack for a better term, it's a bidding war between the CHL and the NCAA at this point in time, because we're seeing,
Yeah.
we're seeing more players leave for the NCAA, but we're also seeing guys in the NCAA that feel like the grass is a little bit greener at the CHL level, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be something that shakes out over the next few years. But NCAA eligibility is definitely going to be, you know, something that's really going to have to be thought about if you're trying to turn this league pro, because the second you sign an entry level deal, say in the NHL, for example, that's pretty much it for a lot of these guys that are playing in the that are playing at the other side.
Yeah.
If you're going to sign a pro contract to play in the Intercounty Baseball League, does that suspend you from playing in the NCAA? So I feel like
Yeah.
that's something to try to figure out as well as this offseason goes along. So it's I think there's a lot of things that it's kind of that ripple effect, if you will, right? You make one decision, you have to think about, how does this affect this? How does this affect A,
Mm-hmm.
B, C, or D? So I really do think this is going to be, one of those interesting off seasons, especially if the IBL decides, hey, this is the route we want to go.
Yeah, and this is pretty much the situation they were in 1949, 1950s, when Galt brought on those players and everything else, and pretty much tried to stack the deck. They lost that year. They lost to Brantford and everything else, but it's just like they tried to stack the deck, and it didn't work. And then it's like you look at how the league went, ebbs and flows for the next couple of years after that. And at one point, 1956, 1957, it was like down to like 6 teams again.
Mhm.
Like, do you want to put that onus on everything else, guys? Like, do we have 9 strong teams? We have 9 teams that have got volunteers committed to working, 48 to 50 games a year, or I guess it's half of that still. But it's like, are you got enough people in your communities around there working for free?
Yeah.
To take care to cover roughly what, if you conclude playoffs, 30 games. Are enough people going to be in your little communities? I want to say little, but as far as like in your little baseball circles, willing to work 30 games next year to give up those 30 nights, weekends, whatever. It's going to be a long toll, and it's got to be very. You got to answer those questions. If you don't have the answer to those questions, guys, right now, maybe you need to step back, maybe put this on hold for a bit and get those answers first. And because you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to make this thing 3 years down the road. Okay, this league no longer exists. Welland, London, whatever else are now playing somewhere else.
Yep.
And what used to be the Intercounty Baseball League, whatever name it is gone. Because it's too valuable, too important to hang on to, guys. And I really hope, and that's not me trying to dissuade you guys or anything else. Like, I've always thought my job in this league, as I gotten older and everything else, is to be a caretaker for this league, to make sure it's there when I'm gone, so people have the stories and everything else. So when somebody's grandkids comes up and says like, okay, I hear my grandfather used to play in this league. Can you tell me about him or something like that? Because he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make sure that's around. But at the same time, it's like, I get it, guys. It's a business. Like, it's a business. I see that side too. But is it smart business to make this league pro right now? We have the infrastructure in place to do that? Do we have the manpower in place to do this? Do we have the bodies to make this entertaining for 50 some odd games?
Yeah.
Like, we know how some of the attendance works in a lot of cities. You'll see them, okay, they're great. They're for May and June, okay, weekend nights, okay, fine. Forget Tuesday night games. They're dead. You might as well just be giving free. You might as well be doing free admission in some of these parks. Might as well be doing free admission, and hoping you make your money back on the beer and the hot dogs. Weekends you'll do better. Once school gets out, the kids, everybody else are busy with their own summer leagues. You don't get them back till middle of August. So you have enough, I don't know, financial wherewithal to entertain the people in the middle of that. And yeah, this is turning into a big ass rant here. I'm sorry, it just is.
We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming.
I've been holding my tongue all year, so it's just coming out now. But it's just like, yeah, make the right choice. Like, if it doesn't make sense for your group, guys, don't be silent about it. Don't be silent about it, because the silence is gonna be killer. So, speak up.
Yeah.
Make sure your opinion's heard at the table here. And, I hope that table in 10 years has got the same people around.
Yeah.
Whatever the way the decision goes.
I think
we'll leave it at that.
I think the one thing that I think about with that too is that, this is definitely going to be something that's talked about, I would imagine, at the AGM, where you're going to have the ownership from every team in the league around the table. And I think those owners that, as much as they want to possibly move this pro, possibly look for more avenues to get more money, to upgrade facilities and get more players and this and that, I think they have to also factor in, hey, you know what? Am I just thinking, and I say it with all due respect, am I thinking selfishly for my own personal interest, for the own interest of my team, or am I thinking about the interests of this league as a whole? Is my decision here to try to gain the quick buck on the short term going to impact something in the long term, where maybe if we make this move and, hey, I get a quick buck here, and again, I say that for a lack of a better term here. I'm not trying to disparage anybody by any means. I'm just saying that if you're going to make something in the short term, that could end up possibly wiping out possibly a couple of teams in the IBL, and some of those teams from, coming into the league. So is it going to hurt the league in the long term? Is it going to be something that is good for this league long term? Because guaranteed, if it's not good for this league, like you said, Neil, you're not going to have a league to make a buck in 5-10 years down the line.
Exactly. Like, you don't want to be in that position where you don't want to be that group that killed this league. You don't want to be that group that you don't want to be part of that. You don't want to be you don't want to be going through 107 years of history, 106 championships now, because on the books, because COVID took out one.
Yeah.
This league survived 2 world wars here, guys. So it's just like, hey, it's worth hanging on to. It's worth hanging on to those values and everything else that made this league what it is over those years.
Yeah.
You can't go look at me and tell me you're going to look at somebody that played in this league for 15 years and say, hey, we don't care what your legacy was anymore because we're now pro. You can't do that. You can't. You cannot. Yeah, you might want to say it in so many words, but you just can't do it. You cannot do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you have that much, and I don't know, joy of owning a team in this league, you definitely want to see it succeed. You want to take steps to make sure it succeeds long term. So I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Like, I'm on the fence as far as this pro thing. Yeah, it seems like it's got some nice options to it and everything else, but it's just, can we sustain it long term?
Yeah.
I think that's the question I'd be asking. That's question number one. Is there enough of a fan base? Yes, the numbers are growing up, but it can also go down too. Like, a whole bunch of things could happen in the next couple of years here, and it's just things aren't what they are now. So you got to keep that in the grain of salt too. Again, I'm ranting and raving, and I think I've said my piece.
Yeah. No, I agree. I know I'm kind of the new kid on the block, I guess, for a lack of a better term, between the three of us. I mean, obviously, Braeden, you've been playing in this league for a decade. Neil, you've been around since Tom McKenzie was around these parts, I'd imagine.
Well, exactly,
I just came into the league as a reporter back in 2018. So, I mean, only 7 years in, but I mean, I have developed a love for this league, and the last thing I want to see is a decision made that's going to hurt the long-term viability of this league. And, that's, I think, I'll echo it once again for the people that are the decision makers in this league. Think about the long-term viability of this league before you cast your ballot, cast your vote for whatever is going to be happening, in 2026 and beyond.
Pretty much.
Other than that, I think that's about it. I guess looking at first of all, let's get into Tom McKenzie because I did bring up his name before we get into what the offseason looks like. Neil, obviously some good laurels for the former
Yes.
Kitchener Panther Tom McKenzie.
Tom McKenzie getting officially named into the OBA Hall of Fame. I think that's going to be taking place in November, October, very soon. And congratulations to Tom and just the legacy and everything else. He represented Canada 5 times internationally for baseball, and then he was just a mainstay with the Kitchener Panthers organizations afterwards. And I mean, between all that too, it's just always been a great sounding board for baseball in the area too. So congratulations to Tom.
I've been looking up his name quite a bit, obviously trying to delve into the Kitchener Panthers history of things, and still trying to get his splits between his time in London and in Kitchener. But that'll be a task in the off season as we continue to update some of the historical figures and the historical stats that are on the Intercounty Baseball League and the team's websites. So we can make sure that we're acknowledging the history and making sure we're doing it accurately.
Oh, exactly. Because like I keep harping about this every time. It's just like we got 107 years of history now. We're going to year 108. How many leagues other than Major League Baseball can say that? Not many.
Oh,
Yeah, not many.
So you got to do your best to preserve those things and make sure those stories are ingrained somewhere safely.
Yeah. By the way, while we're on that topic, send us a message at any point. You can email us anytime at iblinsidepitch@gmail.com. We're not discontinuing the email address throughout the off season. You know where to find us on social media as well. If you do have something that can help put together some of these historical facts that are not available as of yet, maybe you have something hidden in that we don't really have access to, reach out to us because you know what, we can only do so much with the information that we do have. If you have more information that you can provide to help us encapsulate some more of this history, we are more than happy to take that and put that out there for the people that are able to put this stuff together.
So in the closet behind me, there's 2 scrapbooks from 1950s of the Intercounty Baseball League. Billy Craven, who was a longtime baseball and Guelph executive here in town and everything else, grew up a block from Hastings Stadium and everything else. Made those clips when he was a teenager. Like he's got them in there and everything else. And when he passed away, his sister passed them on to me, and I always meant to dig them out and everything else. And Jenny came across them when she was looking for something else last week. It's like, you still have those books, by the way. And I'm like, oh yeah, so that's where those went. And it was just like, they got to get scanned, and then I want to put them off to either the Guelph Museum or I want to take them to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. So it's just I want them preserved, and I know the Guelph Museum doesn't really have a lot of baseball stuff. They don't want a lot of baseball stuff either because they just don't have the room. So, hey Tom, if you're listening to this, you got my number. So come on, you can pick up the phone. Let's get some stuff doing here. I've also got some university baseball stuff I'd love to pass on to you, just because again, it's just been over the years I got handed various things from that first year when university baseball really got kicked off, that TSN story from Hastings and everything, that first championship. So it's like sitting here doing nothing, but I'm like going, it's got to go somewhere. It's got to go someplace because I'm not going to be around forever. What am I going to do with it anyways? It's just going to, my kid's going to go, what is this? And just, no.
Well, it brings something, not to make this about me and, my personal back history or anything like that, but I ended up coming across these 2 scrapbooks. It's been family heirlooms for generations, these 2 big photo album books. So for some people that may not know, Perry is actually related to the family that discovered Timmins. So Timmins, Ontario is named after my great-great-great uncle Noah. His brother Henry is my great-great-great-grandfather. The two of them were co-owners of a shop in Mattawa. They sent somebody up, one of their family members, to do some staking out, if you will, mining history and whatnot, and just kind of looking for some of the stakes in Northern Ontario. That's how Timmins ended up getting founded. So a lot of those photos that were taken in the early days of that city were put into a photo album and were passed down through the generations. And it ended up in my hands at one point. And I ended up giving it back to my parents, and they ended up passing it on to the museum in Timmins. So now they have access to those photos that they can pass on to those generations. So when it comes to making, historical items and historical pictures and memorabilia and everything available to the public that wants to get to know this kind of stuff and get to know this kind of history, I'm all for it. That's something that will always stick with me, and it has a personal significance, and for other people it has a very historical significance as well.
Exactly. So I'm going to give the fans listening a little bit of homework, and there's no rush on this stuff, guys, but you know where we are on Facebook. So go through your phones this year. Go through everything else. Go through the cameras, and if you took cameras and everything else. Send us your favorite photos of this year from the Intercounty baseball games. Send us those things. And, if you want to share some stories attached to it and say, hey, this was Jimmy's first game or something like this. You got to meet so-and-so. I love to see those things, because this is the sort of things that how I got involved in this thing, and how PA and I were actually talking about this the other day. It was just like, I remember our first game and everything else. And it wasn't really an IBL game. It was, they were playing the Royals were playing the Toronto Maple Leafs in a softball game. That was my first ever experience of, way back when in the 1980s and everything else. Alan Bester and some other guys were playing and everything else, and that's how it became the first time I ever actually it wasn't Hastings Stadium back then. It was actually Exhibition Stadium, so it was just like the old bar park and everything else. And it's the first time I met Paul Ante, and it's just kind of those things. And then fast forward 10 years down the road, and that's how I met again. Our circles, everything crossed again through Billy Craven and stuff like that. So that's how it happened. But those are the kind of stories and everything else. I know there's a picture, everything else as far as that stuff goes. My dad has took a bunch of pictures. He's a photographer, so it happens. There's pictures and everything else at the ballpark that night. I can't tell you who half the guys in the Leafs were at the time, because I can't remember. They weren't that good. Let's put it that way. I think the Royals actually beat them that night, but don't quote me on it. But yes, send us those pictures, guys, and just share those memories of, hey, maybe you went to another ballpark this year and you met somebody from Welland and everything else, and you guys hit up a conversation. Those are the kind of things you kind of build on. So that's what I want to see. That's what the homework I want to see for you guys going forward. To share those stories.
Yeah, and like you said, it doesn't have to be today, but obviously you can also you can always share that kind of stuff on the stories on social medias. You can tag us, and we will be sure to actually share it out throughout the off season as well. But feel free to put those good feelings out there and those good memories out there, and we would love to share them for the audience as a whole, because this is really what baseball is all about, is bringing people together.
No question it is. I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for this year. It was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun, and oh god, I'm starting. It's just.
Oh no!
No. No. We're getting verklempt here. That's it.
We're good. We're good.
We're good. It's still good. It's still good. We're not doing it. We're not losing it. We're not losing it. But I have not made decisions as far as what we're doing next year. I usually go into a morning period, but this year it hasn't been a morning period. Like, I don't know why, but it's usually like 24 or 48 hours or something, where it's just people just know, okay, don't bug them.
Yeah.
But this year it's been very different. It's been very different, maybe because it wasn't attached to whatever, something else. But it was very different as far as that stuff goes. But yes, it's just from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the guys that watch the videos and everything else and ask the questions. And I got to apologize for Gil Rondon. You sent me a voicemail last week. I have not got back to it. I'm sorry. Gil, I always got time for you and everything else. It's just been very busy at work and, with life and stuff, and, trying to just do university baseball too. So that's where I'm going for the next couple of weeks. And then after that, it's going to be, okay, yeah, it'll be middle of October. And seriously, there's no baseball. What the heck am I going to do? Jays better be in the World Series, or it's going to be hell
Yeah.
to pay.
Well, maybe that's where we come together and do a special episode where we're at Rogers Center.
Hey, I'm down. I'm down.
All right.
I'm down.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
See what happens.
Yeah,
I want to add on to what Neil said. Just thanking everybody. Blah blah blah. Save everybody. The long-winded stuff. But I appreciate you guys bringing me on because you guys didn't have to. You guys didn't really know me for me, right? You guys just kind of had an idea of what I was about. But I think now you know way too much.
Yeah. We've seen things we cannot unsee now. So
yeah. But no, I appreciate you guys bringing me on here, and it was fun, honestly. Getting to know this side of the league was something that I never imagined or didn't even fathom knowing, right? Mm-hmm. So now seeing both sides, it's kind of cool. I'm not going to say it's going to impact, my future in the league because you never know.
Quote unquote. Return.
Maybe this side's better than the other side. Hey, for all I know, I don't know.
We've had active athletes do podcasting before. I mean, Travis Kelce's still doing a weekly thing, even though he's playing.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But is he actually playing this year, or is he just kind of, going through the motions? Because he's killing my fantasy football league.
Week 2 didn't really go too well for him, or the Chiefs, who are 0-2. Sorry to the Chiefs fans. Patriots won last week. Patriots won this week, though. I'll take that 1-1. They beat Miami in Miami. Not even Tom Brady could do that all that often in his 20-year run. So,
yeah.
That's probably a good spot to end this.
Yeah, I think so. Just to give fans a little bit of what's to come. Obviously, the AGM. Neil, you said probably later this month, I would imagine.
Yeah,
or
I'm not.
Maybe...
I don't have the dates, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure it's pretty soon though, because just how the schedule goes out. Then the signing deadline, the rosters will on freeze usually second week of October, and you'll see Barrie round trip 15 again because that's what they do. Yeah. We were half joking on the. I wasn't joking. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh signed half the team on the way home from that Barrie trip last night. I would not be surprised. They'd probably hand him a couple of beers and say, "Here you go. Oh, by the way, here we need to sign this. He's coming back." And that's just how Josh is. He gets his work done early, and that's great to see.
So that's what's to come. I'm heading to an ice rink because I have 2 OHL teams to call games for. Starting this upcoming Friday, I have my season opener with the Guelph Storm taking on the Erie Otters, and that's it's going to be really fun to see what is going to be coming up during the hockey season and get my mind away from the diamond and onto the ice rink. But before we go, I just want to echo you guys. I had this idea maybe about a year ago. We had a 2024 season where there was no podcast for the IBL after Andrew and Laserbeam Chris Lazar did it in 2023. And I figure, you know what? Why not? Everybody's got a podcast. And the one thing that everybody always says about a podcast is that if you make a podcast for everybody, you're making a podcast for nobody. So you really wanted to do something that was really focused on something. And I couldn't think of a topic that was more near and dear than the Intercounty Baseball League because of the appetite for it. And it's really shown in the viewership this season, and the amount of time that we've been able to put into this all season long, taking our Monday nights to tape this. It's been a tradition for the last several months now for us to do this, jump on here and talk about the latest happenings in the IBL. Joke around, have something on the air for an hour, for 2 hours, maybe it's 45 minutes, and then mess around for the rest of the time that we're talking here. But it is much appreciated for those that are tuning in, because at the end of the day, you're the reason why we are doing this, and we are going to continue doing this for season 2. We don't know when we're going to be starting off season 2. We're going to take a little bit of a break. Again, this has been a ride, and
Yep.
It's been something that's been a learning experience for myself. It's the first time I've really gone on to do a podcast that's more than 2 or 3 episodes. To do a full season is something that I'm really proud of, and I hope for God that the two of you are very proud of as well, because the two of you, I'm just here to kind of be a setup man, it seems like. That's just the way I'm built. I will
Yeah.
give my opinions, but you guys have been, in my opinion, the heart and soul of this podcast and this journey all season long. And I just want to thank the two of you for coming on all season long and being able to complete the trifecta that is the IBL Inside Pitch.
Thank you. And I like to leave it out. It's just not goodbye, guys and girls. It's just
No.
till next time.
Mm-hmm. Till next time. This has been another episode of the IBL Inside Pitch. We'll see you in season 2.